Hi, Michelle. Make sure you remind me to switch it back to the regular sound afterwards. Y'all got any particular subjects? Luke. Yeah,
Keith was on the phone with us, but Luke is in the studio.
No, it was Luke.
I didn't hear it. So the issue I'm having is Drew just plays shit off his phone. Drew plays stuff off his phone, so I know you were live. And I can't find the clip because he played off his computer. So process is going to find out, and I'll let you know. We'll have
it. Was okay. Probably 8:30.
8:30. Okay, I'll check.
Can you pull that shit? Yeah, just go ahead.
And that's what I'll just pull off the recording.
Yeah.
Say it that way.
Thanks, man. He get ready to get us all fired. Scoop Steve, no, it was pretty clean. No, I don't see any. They probably told one of the interns or something to come in here, like when you get to the studio, please go into 93. And see, it sucks because then it looks like I'm the diva. You know what I'm saying? Like, could somebody please go in there and make sure there's not any, papers and cough drop trash in the studio so Marcus doesn't have to complain. I'm like, don't make me out to be the bad guy. What's going on, CJ3K? There wasn't any cough drop wrapper. There is, however, a water bottle, but I don't know whose that is. Bradley, what's going on? We got a mystery guest at 10:30, y'all. So do your best, if you can, to be tuned in at 10:30. We'll do the good luck charm. This is to make sure you have a great day. You cannot lose when you get this pop up. What was the news for the day? You talking about the mystery guest? Go Cards! Actually, we'll let him hang out right there today. No, I can't. I gave a hint on Twitter. Okay. Thanks. Patty Ice just got me together on some sound. We got a boycott coming along. I'm pumped. I got my hat. Like I finally got my hat to caress my dome like I wanted to. So I'm kind of pumped about that. Hey y'all, Brian thinks he's slick. He's gonna try not to wear headphones today. Ain't gonna work. I'm gonna call him out the first time we start talking back and forth. I'm gonna say, Brian, where your headphones at? Let's see. What do I need to catch up on? What do I need to catch on? We got to do something about this Donovan situation, man. Let me Gotta start off that conversation early. Do I have any midday docket conversations? Oh. I'm gonna send it to Brian. He needs to see that. Okay. Send that to Brian. Oh, I gotta talk about this too. I'm gonna use this one. You feel like grabbing a hot water? You feel like grabbing a hot water?
You want hot water?
Yeah, just full hot.
Okay.
Appreciate it. I'm sorry, y'all. And I can listen, and I can hear him running too. He's the best intern. I wish he was here to stay. I hate asking interns for hot water. I feel like such a jackass. Golly. They say we got to give Brian more FaceTime.
For what?
Oh, that's your water?
Yeah.
I was going to say, I didn't think it was here when I first got
No, I put it in here when I was talking to you.
That's what I thought. That's what I thought. Okay, CJ. Let me see what I can do. Oh, you know what I still got on? Oh, I still got on the thing. Hold on. Okay. I was screwing up, y'all. I was screwing up. Cool guy dog, what's going on? Damn, did he get lost? He don't know where the cups are or something. Does he not know where the cups are or something? He was supposed to grab me some hot water. Okay. Somebody might be getting coffee or something. Yeah. That's the best I could do, CJ. That's the best I could do. Y'all keep it. Listen, y'all can keep an eye on the reflection as much as you can. Okay. Oh shit, he grabbed me. I was wrong. Okay, I'm gonna get back to the other sound. So I'm gonna be back to mainstream audio. Enjoy the show, please.
June, we implemented an employee stock ownership plan. So now all of our full-time staff members own a piece of Cox's and Evergreen.
We always took pride, but now this is ours. That's a big thing. I am a part owner. We are part owners, and that didn't have to be done. And most companies don't do that.
Cox's and Evergreen are Louisville's neighborhood liquor store. Visit our website, coxeslouisville.com.
Summer is upon us, and you are about to find out how strong your cooling system is. And if you find out that it's not ready for the long summer ahead, then call DFH Company today at 968-6222. Right now, when you buy a full Train system, receive an extended 10-year part and labor warranty and 18-month special financing. It's hard to stop a Train, so call DFH 968-6222 or look them up online at dfhcompany.com. Visit dfhcompany.com for complete program eligibility, dates, details, and restrictions. Subject to credit approval.
This is Drew Diener, and you're listening to 93.9 The Ville, live from the OPC Services Studio.
That's his thing. They don't get back. Look at this steal. Here's the steal. 3-on-1. Alley-oop. Oh, my goodness. Marcus Davis. And you certainly are in love with him here in Louisville. Marcus in the open floor, hops incredible. Here comes Maven off the steal.
Get up, get up, get up, get up. Let's get ready for Marcus Maven. You're about midway to the midday with Marcus Maven. And you can call in, I lay back and just listen to Marcus Maven. So sit back and relax and watch Maven.
Break it down like this.
Woo!
Broadcasting live from the OPC Pest Services Studio. Time for Middays with Marcus Maven on 93.9 The Ville. Now, here's Marcus Maven and Steve Rummage.
Welcome back. It's Middays with Marcus Maven. 8150 93.9 is the number. 93.9 is the station. And people, if you complained about all the weather last week, all the rainy days, all the bad weather for the last part of this year, I hope you are enjoying every single minute of this absolute perfect sunshine. We are getting the sunshine leads to a great show. Steve Rummage is in Las Vegas. Brian Hall in the booth.
What up, everybody? No, one thing that I did want to get out, because I know we don't talk a lot of baseball on here, but I am kind of semi-excited about seeing Hunter Green pitch for the Louisville Bats tonight. You know, Hunter Green was a kid out of high school who was taken as the number 2 overall pick ahead of Brendan McKay a couple years ago by the Cincinnati Reds. And, you know, he's been working his way through the minor league system, but he's a guy that apparently can get into that 3-digit speed. So.
Isn't he like undefeated right now as far as minor league?
Yeah, so he's the number 2 prospect, I think, in I think he's the number 2 prospect in the Reds organization right now. But obviously, being a former number 2 overall pick, they have high expectations for him. So he's a guy that should be a major piece of the Cincinnati Reds coming up. And now he's currently on the Louisville Bats, and you can catch him for his debut with the Bats tonight at Louisville Slugger Field. So
93.9 The Ville. Will we be carrying the
we don't
game?
carry the Bats.
Thought we did. What's wrong with the Bats? They should be coming straight to 93.9 The Ville.
Just saying.
Okay. Well, I thought Reds tied us in with that, but that's okay. I should know the program, but my job is not the program director. I just make the programs awesome. So a lot of conversation we got to have today. It seems like our days just keep getting better. I'm still a little disappointed. I didn't get a lot of internet traffic on John Calipari to the NBA again. Oh, but that was funny. It was one of the more predictable stories.
I'm intrigued by this mystery guest.
Oh, mystery guest. That's right. So, Brian, it is your responsibility to be on the clock at 25. We have got to get into a commercial break. Even if I'm in the middle of the deepest ranting conversation, you cut me off and you just say, quick commercial break, and you just cut it straight to commercial, and we'll talk about 4 pegs, or we'll talk about
I'll just be like 25.
Right. 25. We'll go straight to Derek A. Stewart. We'll go to 4 pegs. We'll go to any commercial because the mystery guest.
What was your hint? It was the real MVP.
You haven't posted it yet?
Oh yeah, it's up.
Oh, it's up on Twitter.
It's been up for 30 minutes.
Okay,
Almost.
Good. No, has anybody guessed it just yet? Not guessed it.
Check.
Has someone tried to make a guess at who our mystery guest is? 10:30. And listen, like, y'all should know me by now. Y'all should know me enough to know what kind of thing excites Marcus Maven to the point where he doesn't want to tell you. Think about this. In radio, you're supposed to tell people what you got, what program you got in store, right?
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
I'm not gonna lie. Like, I think the tweet's pretty cool, but it's been up for 24 minutes and nobody's responded.
Oh, but they just know. They should know that I got to be tuned in at 10:30 on the dot. So tell a friend. Hey, y'all, Marcus is excited about something. So we got to see what he got brewing behind the scenes. So yeah, special mystery guest at 10:30. The hint is what, Brian?
The real MVP.
Don't get no better than that. So we got a little conversation. I got to send a shout out, Brian. This is I'm comfortable. I think we take pride in being comfortable. You, myself, Steve Rummage, we can acknowledge, when an opponent is better. We can acknowledge, when someone does a better job than us. Like we're competitive, but we're also good sports in general, good sportsmen, and we're comfortable in our, masculinity and all that, right, and all that good stuff. I got to say this. I have never, ever in my life seen Steve dressed as nice as he was in that Las Vegas picture.
I saw the tweet that you sent me.
If y'all follow Steve Rummage on Facebook or Instagram or Twitter, you need to find this picture of Steve Rummage and his wife at Caesars.
It might be the first time I've ever seen him not in sweatpants or shorts.
I've seen him dressed up a couple times.
Or with a backwards hat on.
Listen, Steve Rummage, and here's the thing. I'm gonna ask him this, and I'm gonna force him to acknowledge there's absolutely no way possible he chose his own ensemble.
No, I highly doubt.
Would you do you agree with that, Brian?
No, but the shirt's pretty wild.
That's what I mean. He has the collar. He
looks clean cut.
He is clean. The belt. Listen, y'all. The belt and the shoes were made together. They were. He either bought that out of the Versace store or charity put that together for him.
And then he's standing at Caesar's Palace, and it's like he's about to ask the question. He's like, "So did the real Caesar live here?"
Listen, and Charity's dress is so nice as well.
Oh yeah,
like it's a really, really good looking picture. I'm like, Steve, bravo. Steve, if that's what you're gonna do, I feel like Mike Lowry, right? And in the final scenes of Bad Boys.
Oh yeah,
when he says, "Now that's how you drive. From now on, that's how you drive." Steve, if you can get that clean, that's what you do.
I mean, he's just getting ready, to be a realtor. I mean, he's just getting that whole feel going.
I don't know if that's quite realtor material, but that's
he's gonna have to dress up more than he usually does if he's gonna be a realtor.
That's Vegas realtor gear right there.
Yeah, that is Vegas realtor gear. Yeah, he's probably out there meeting with some realtors from Vegas trying to learn the tricks of the trade, and they're like, "You got to wear one of these nice shirts," and he's gonna come back here and he's gonna be so out of place.
Listen, I got two guesses on the mystery: Deion Branch or Jalen Johnson. Those are two. So yeah, we're gonna have to have that conversation. We're gonna have. Speaking of MVPs, we're gonna have to have a conversation about what we're gonna do with this Donovan Mitchell situation, right? Because here's the thing: Donovan Mitchell has done so much more than I could have expected him to do. Put it this way: Donovan has put the total stats up now that I thought he would have. Like once I saw he was going to be able to stick in the league after a first couple of games, because I didn't know. And your situation always makes a difference. Once I saw Donovan Mitchell's first couple of games, I said, okay, he's going to stick around in the league for a while, right? But I thought it was going to be a 6 to 12 long-term, just do a lot of years, but just be on benches, right?
Mm-hmm.
Or play, but not really just like all-star, superstar up, right? Once he started going superstar mode, he's put up the numbers, career type numbers over multiple seasons, right? First of all, he's getting jerked over these all-star votings and these all NBA team votings. He's getting I shouldn't say it. He's getting a raw deal, a very extremely raw deal for his production. But here's the thing. I gotta be an adult about it too, right? And I got to ask you this question. I'll ask callers as well. 8150-939 is the number. 3831-939 is the text line. What does Donovan Mitchell have to do outside of winning to be respected as a top caliber player? Because he has numbers that put him you have to combine. Okay, if Julius Randle averages a few more rebounds than him, right? Mm-hmm. But let's say this. Julius Randle was a 6th seed in the East or something. Donovan Mitchell, Julius Randle went out the first. Donovan Mitchell had the number 1 record in the NBA and was obviously the best player on the number. I at this point, I hate to complain, right? But I turn into grandpa. What are you teaching us? What are you teaching us now? Mm-hmm. What are we learning? If Donovan Mitchell is the best player on the best team in the NBA and he can't be on one of the first 3 teams.
Yeah, I can't justify the snub in any way, shape, or form. The only thing that I can think of, to answer your first question about what he can improve on is obviously he puts up the point totals, and that's not a problem. But maybe more, just some of the other things, some more, maybe a little higher assist totals, maybe a little bit better defense, maybe a little bit better rebounding from the guard position.
I came up with 2 quick options. Okay. And I remember I said, other than winning, because here's the thing, that's what they do. When they don't want to give you credit, they say, well, if you have to win 6 championships to even be, because, or you put some standards on him, like, only one team's gonna win, but he is without a doubt an NBA top 15 player. He has performed at a top 15 level this basketball season. Right? So my two suggestions, my 2 explorations are: A, Donovan Mitchell has to get Conley out of there, and he has to be a full-time point guard. He has to be a full-time point guard. Listen. He's most effective. He's a superstar at the 2. He's going to have to go Steph Curry, Dame Lillard. He's just going to have to go full point guard for his team and have Conley at the 2, or go get another big time scorer, Clarkson or whoever, and put them at the 2. Conley just can't be the point. And even with the best record, I mean,
I don't know. We're also seeing the Utah Jazz struggling without Mike Conley right now, too.
Listen, I agree, but here's the thing: you go get another bona fide shooting guard, a big wing man,
and you make Mitchell's point.
Yeah, because athletically, like Conley, he needs help.
Yeah,
he needs help.
And he's towards the end of his career. I mean, don't get me wrong, he still plays at a high level, but I just meant, like, if you're trying to build a team for the future, he's not the long-term solution.
And what he brings to the table is not Chris Paul level. Like, Chris Paul's getting away with being old, but that,
he's a high level point guard, but he's not elite.
Right. Okay, so Conley moving Donovan into, it'll drop your scoring, but you got to go with your play. You got to boost your playmaking, your assist, your
more of an all around player.
Yeah, control the game as a point guard, or you got to get out of Utah.
I think he needs some scoring help too, just because like last night he was jacking threes at the end, and he was out of sync.
Listen. There's no doubt he was out of sync. Playoffs are tough because the thing that makes the playoffs the toughest is that scouting every night. We get to see you for 48 minutes after the game. I'm watching you 48 minutes, and they clip it up so you can watch every single play in the game in 24 minutes. So people who spend 2 hours of film study literally can watch a game 10 times, 10 times. Just on your video director editing up. Okay, I want all edits of Donovan Mitchell because I'll be guarding him tomorrow night. Like you can find ways analytics. How many times he misses from the left side of the basket, the right side of the basket? Push him going right, you know.
But watching the game last night, like Quinn Snyder, he even made the comment. He's like, we have to get Donovan Mitchell help. He's doing too much on his own. And so to me, I think, like you said, kind of maybe getting that wing score so that he doesn't have all the pressure at the end of the game. Because I'm not going to lie, it was kind of cringeworthy watching some of the shot selections that he had towards the end of the game last night.
Is he running out of gas?
Well, he's also, not 100%. I mean, he's playing on an injury. He's trying to make up for Conley being out. He's got a lot of weight. He probably had a lot of pressure on him being at home last night. The Kawhi Leonard-less Clippers coming to town, and everybody saying that the Clippers are done.
How much money did Vegas make last night on that Clippers win?
A ton. They're thanking Paul George right now. They're like, PG-13, you just made Vegas survive for another week.
I know we just had Nate in here talking about officiating, but listen, if there ever was a call, that call would have got made last night. Clippers got to win tonight.
Yeah.
Because everybody took Utah. I guarantee everybody in Utah who gambles took the Utah Jazz the moment they found out.
Anybody who gambles on the NBA period would have taken the Utah Jazz.
I guarantee. Oh, they cleaned up.
Especially because, Paul George, as great of a player as he is, he doesn't have a great reputation in the playoffs. And so it was one of those things where they're like, how is, this guy who already has a bad rep in the playoffs going to take a team on his back?
You see Ballmer hugging him. I tell you what, who we got on the phone line?
We got Mike.
Mike, thanks for joining us on 93.9. Fire away.
Marcus, Jimmy Butler, I'm perturbed about this All-NBA team. So the first two teams, there's really not a whole lot of arguing going on. But that third team, man, come on. Jimmy Butler, he made the All-NBA team this year due to the bubble last year. You can't convince me otherwise. And I hate UK, but you cannot tell me that Donovan Mitchell and Devin Booker don't deserve to be on that at least third team with the two best records in the West, the two best players putting up numbers, carrying teams, and Jimmy friggin' Butler made it. Come on, man. That's all I got.
No, listen, that was as irritating. I mean, the Tatum, Booker, Donovan, I didn't like the vote. And again, if you're doing media and the guys out, and I mean, I can't really say anything about Tatum. I think the media is kind of, you know what? These guys are too boring for him. Tatum's too boring. Donovan's too boring. They're just efficient and boring.
I just feel like Mitchell's never been respected. It's one of those things where he's always been overlooked, like people were even questioning him getting max money with the Jazz. And it's like, no matter what he does, he leads his team to the 1 seed in the all-powerful Western Conference, and he still can't get any respect.
And I'll admit this, I'm late to the party too as well, because I feel like we underappreciated him at Louisville a little bit.
Yeah.
So I kind of I didn't want to be quick to throw stones at everybody not giving him respect. Like Lamar Jackson, I was on board from the beginning. Like, no, we loved him and we thought the world should acknowledge him. Donovan Mitchell, we knew he was good. But the moment he showed what he can do in the league, like I said, I tried to cut a little slack because I didn't know what he would do either. But he's been doing his thing. Donovan has been playing at the level of respect worthy. And I don't want to say it's a Utah thing, but as you watch, I got to get Jordan out of Milwaukee too. Mm-hmm. I either got to get that coach out of Milwaukee or get Jordan out of Milwaukee, because he's an elite guy and he can help. He could help a team in this.
Jordan showed what he could do once he got a little opportunity. When the Bucks, had already secured their playoff spot and they were kind of just playing some of the backups, and he goes out for a 37-point performance.
He was a lot more efficient than given credit for. So yeah, the Jordan thing, but I don't want to admit that Utah's not the place for Donovan, but if it's going to be like this, if he's going to be able to do this number.
Do you think part of it has to do with the smaller market? They always talk about the markets and marketing players, and that if he got into a New York or an LA or a Chicago,
that's one of where the energy is. That's one of the only things. Brian, let's stay on schedule. We got to take this commercial break. Mystery guest coming right up after this commercial break. I'm so excited. Middays with Marcus Maven on 93.9 The Ville.
I'm former Louisville basketball player.
He's calling us.
When the NCAA tried to take away the most outstanding player award from the 2013 tournament, I got it back thanks to Morgan & Morgan. Morgan & Morgan is the personal injury firm that fights for the people, and their team treats clients like family. Morgan & Morgan changed my life, and if you've been injured in a car crash, at work, or in a slip and fall, they may be able to change yours. For a free consultation, dial pound law on your cell phone. That's pound 529, offices Louisville.
Make your life better with a new job at UPS. Join Team Louisville as a warehouse worker and be part of an industry-leading organization that believes in promoting from within. Earn $14.50 plus up to $425 in weekly bonuses depending on shift. And you might even be eligible for a program that helps you graduate college debt-free. Enjoy an active job with big-time growth opportunities at UPS. Search and apply now at upsjobs.com/Louisville. That's upsjobs.com/Louisville.
You've shared half your life together.
Built your family and careers together.
She doesn't just complete your sentences, she completes you.
Isn't it time to tell her you'd marry her all over again? I'm Hank Davis.
And I'm Hank's daughter, Ashley, from Davis Jewelers, suggesting maybe it's time for that second diamond, the diamond you've always wanted to give her, but now you can afford.
Here at our famous Davis Jewelers Diamond Bar, you'll find 3 to 4 times the quality certified diamonds you'll find in average stores.
2, 3, 4 carat diamonds in stock every day at the guaranteed best price in Kentuckiana.
And the diamond professionals to help you create not just her ultimate diamond ring, but a true family legacy.
So when you want to say, I love you on her birthday, your anniversary, or just because it's time,
give her that second diamond from Louisville's largest fine jeweler.
Where love, it's what we do.
Davis Jewelers, Louisville's largest fine jeweler. Forest Green Boulevard, just off North Hurstbourne Parkway, and at davisjewelers.com.
The NBA playoffs continue.
Durant triggers a 3 and buries it from straight on top.
After 5 games, the home team is undefeated after the Nets win Game 5 in Brooklyn. Now we return to Milwaukee. Will the home team trend continue? Or will the Nets earn a trip to the Eastern Conference Finals?
Giannis down the lane and winds up and dunks it on the head of Griffin.
Coverage begins tonight at 8 o'clock on 93.9 The Ville.
Hey, Card Nation, let's be honest. The real estate market in Kentucky is booming. And whether you want to buy or sell a home, now is the perfect time to do it. With interest rates at an all-time low and programs that can get you in a home for no money down. Want to learn more? It's simple. Just call Derek A. Stewart with Dream JP Pirtle. Derek is available virtually around the clock to listen, understand, and help you with all your realtor needs. So don't waste another second. Call Derek A. Stewart at 502-314-9868 today.
The course is set for summer golf. Let's celebrate a game like no other with a wine like no other. Tee up your next round with Maomi, the official wine of the PGA Tour. Relax, unwind, and discover the unrivaled taste of Maomi Pinot Noir, Chardonnay, and Rosé wherever you are. And while you watch your favorite pros on the green, Maomi encourages you to support local retailers with home delivery through Drizzly. Order online and get Maomi wines delivered today. Please enjoy Maomi wines responsibly. Maomi Wines of Campo, California.
Genesis Diamonds is celebrating the summer of 2021 with an offer that everyone's loving right now. 5 years, 0 interest financing with 0 down on anything and everything. Upgrade or diamond, and you can spread the payments over 5 years with 0 interest. Treat yourself to that designer necklace or those diamond earrings you've had your eyes on. It's easy with this spectacular offer, and everything's included.
He's ready.
With all our GIA certified diamonds.
He's excited. It's his first interview.
That's your payment. No down payment is required. You can even finance the sales tax.
Okay.
People are driving for hours to take advantage of this. Imagine a $12,000 designer engagement ring or diamond tennis bracelet, just $200.
He's a big fan of the show.
Smartest and definitely the most
That's what he said when I messaged him.
Or even yourself.
He said he listens a lot. And he was like, I appreciate you reaching out, but since it was my first interview, I just wanted to make sure I did it the right way. I didn't want to get in trouble, so I wanted to make sure you went through Kenny.
Unapproved credit.
This is Drew Diener, and you're listening to 93.9 The Ville, live from the OPC Services Studio.
Oh man, it's good. Now, I don't think I've ever been interviewed like that in my life. I'm just shaking it in. That was my introduction, man.
Oh no. I think you're in like a super secure environment. Is there another room you can kind of step out to or something? You're getting a lot of static for a second.
Yeah. Is this better?
You tell me, the producer. Hold on, let me ask my producer real quick.
How we doing?
Okay, that's good. That's good right there. Oh, okay.
Perfect.
Okay, so here's the thing. I don't know if you've listened to the show. I don't know if you know what's coming, but at the beginning of every interview for a new member of the 93.9 family, we get the anxiety out the way. We always like to get the tough question out of the way. So the rest of the interview will be smooth sailing downhill. Are you ready for the tough anxiety, uncomfortable, awkward question that I have to start this interview with?
Yeah, I think I'm as prepared as I'm ever going to be, so bring it on.
Okay, so Troy Beckman, as the video producer of Louisville men's basketball, either by coach, player, or local radio personality, have you ever been bribed or influenced to add more of their highlights to any video you produced?
Oh man, that's a great question. I think everyone likes their spot in the spotlight for sure. And if they're deserving of the spotlight, I'll put them on the video. And I'm thrilled to be on right now, and I'm just very, very fortunate to be in the position I am with Louisville basketball to be even talking to you guys right now.
No, listen, that was a great response. Listen, the number one goal of all these interviews is don't get any of us in trouble and don't get yourself in trouble, and because we all like keeping our jobs. Okay, so speaking of that, I mean, it seems like it would have to be just a absolute pleasure to be around people who don't mind you recording them, who don't mind, who trust you to put a good foot forward on the basketball team. Like, that's a big deal. The reason I was calling you the MVP is because when you don't get a lot of news out of the basketball department, or you don't necessarily get a lot of coaching interviews, I totally understand why. I mean, they're in the gym grinding, they're recruiting, they're absolutely busy. So you are basically, for a 6-month off-season period, like, people are depending on you to keep the momentum going. I don't know if you realized how much pressure you're under, but does it feel like pressure, and how much do you appreciate like being in that position?
Oh, I don't feel any pressure at all. I mean, it's not just me that makes these videos. I have Andrew Lentz, who really guides me through the process. He's the guy who, if I bring up ideas, he's gonna polish them off and make sure that we're putting the best forward for Louisville basketball. And on your point with the access I get, that's just a tribute to Coach Mack. I mean, when I first got here, that was something that he really, really wanted to establish, is kind of an inside look with the program pretty much weekly, so that the fans, because you guys are so passionate here, just give them an inside look on like what's going on. And with COVID last year, we were not able to do that like whatsoever because of guidelines, protocols, and different stuff where like people wearing masks all the time. So it wasn't really access that, the fans would have enjoyed. And, I was limited on what I could do video wise with being around the guys a certain amount of time, just because of all the COVID stuff. So this year it's really, really nice to finally be back in the gym, and with all the new guys, telling their story and getting you guys to, fall in love with them.
Absolutely. Talking with video producer for men's basketball, Troy Beckman. Okay, so let me ask you this. What guy, because I know, like I said, with unlimited access, there has to be a guy who kind of makes his way to be in front of the camera a little more. And there has to be a guy who kind of, does the side shoulder and doesn't want to be on camera as much. And like I said, I'm not talking about like extreme personalities, but give us two personalities. Give me one that's kind of the ham for the camera, and give me a guy who kind of all talk, no play type of guy.
I think right from the get-go, I knew that Rose was going to be someone with a big personality that would come in, and he's always looking for the camera. He's always smiling. So when someone's smiling all the time, it naturally just attracts, attention, and he's just got good vibes about him. And I think the city of Louisville is really, really going to love him, once they get to know him as a person and also as a basketball player. There are a couple of shy guys on the team, but I think, once I break those barriers and they get comfortable in front of the camera, because a lot of these guys, they haven't had someone like me who's following them around, diving deep into what they're doing on the basketball court and sometimes off the basketball court. So it just takes a little bit of time to, establish that relationship with the players so that they're a little more comfortable having that camera around them more so than they were prior to coming here.
Are there any particular moments where someone may turn to you and just say, don't put that? Here a lot of times, if we have a Freudian slip up or a little mistake, there's a little saying that'll make a mixtape to our sister station 680. Is there moments where you get a little bit of a jab, like you make sure that never sees the light of day again?
I'll say this: there is a blooper reel that I create throughout the year, and sometimes that's an in-house thing. Sometimes we send that out to the fans and everything. But there's definitely a blooper reel that gets added on every single day. And Sam Williamson is so funny. He will give me the desk glare into the camera just randomly, whether he's on practice or if he's just like walking throughout the gym or something like that. And I think I have at least 50 clips since he started here. That's kind of like his MO with me, and it's awesome. He's a funny guy.
No, I totally appreciate you telling that story. Sam is another guy we don't really get to see a lot of his, his personality. So, I mean, I'm sure you've been, formed to do all that work. Let me ask you this: as far as the coaching staff, is there any kind of lines between drills that they'd rather not show, or have you made something to the cutting to the final cutting board, and the coaches saw something and said, okay, that's more of a play, or that's something that can't go on the video?
Honestly, I can't really think of a time. There might be like little things if a drill wasn't exactly executed the way that they wanted it to, but the coaches are really, really awesome with, allowing me to film everything and then also being able to show you guys exactly what's going on the court. And that goes with, Andrew Lentz when he's taking photos, and anyone else who's making stuff for our social accounts. They're awesome. They want to give you that like raw organic feel pretty much any time. And so they're open with me shooting everything for the most part.
Talking with Louisville men's basketball video producer Troy Beckman. Do you have a certain schedule? Like, do they give you kind of a blueprint? Like, we'd like to release a video once a month, or do you just kind of work and when you find some, or when you have a finished product, you say, okay, we're ready to put something out?
So they kind of lean on me and Andrew Lentz to really make the social calendar and try and figure out exactly what the talking points are within the team during that week, and then also bringing that onto social. So whatever we're talking about as a team on the court or outside the court or on the weight room, that's something that will kind of like lead our storylines for the week. So it's more organic than kind of a schedule, but also we're trying to make sure that we're hitting good recruiting points, good points with donors, and making sure that the fans feel included every week too. So it's a little bit of a mixture of both, I would say.
Talking with Troy Beckman of video department. So let me ask you this. We all have our anxieties about our work. I mean, you seem pretty confident, or very confident about the work you put out. Again, I know Andrew Lentz, he's good at what he does. So on D-Day, on release date, how much time do you spend on social media? Do you listen to local pundits, or do you wait for reactions? Are you nervous before it gets released? Are you waiting to see if they like it, or it sucks, or you didn't cover enough? Like, do you have anxiety levels, or do you just kind of like let it go and whatever happens happens?
Yes, 100% I have anxiety, because you put out something, especially with you got fans that are so passionate. Everyone here wants to make sure that we're giving them the content that they want, because they look on Twitter and that's what they want to see. So 100% I have anxiety, but my routine is I don't even look at my phone for the first at least like 3 hours once something releases, just to let it breathe a little bit and, get me out of my zone. I'll work out, or I'll go get something to eat or something like that in the meantime, just to get my mind off it. Because some of the projects they're very time consuming. So it's nice to like get a breather and let things kind of relax and take form, and then come back and see what the reaction is afterwards.
A question I would totally have, I would not be doing my job if I didn't ask. There's a lot of people wondering about this. It's kind of like we talked about officiating yesterday. People watch games and they assume that officials just like came up from the ground and showed up with you being a video producer for the team. Kind of give your background story, because it's like, how do people get this job? Like, listen, don't tell people how to take your job, but kind of give your background on kind of how you ended up at the University of Louisville.
So I was really, really fortunate when I was in high school. I graduated in 2011, which seems forever ago now. But when I was in high school, they had a video program that was kind of a startup, and I had the ability to have a camera in my hand, and my basketball team at my high school was really, really talented. I think we only lost one game during the season. So I asked the coach prior to the season, I was like, hey, can I follow you guys around, make some mixtapes? And that's pretty much how I got into the business. I went to the University of Minnesota, did videography there, jumped over to the Timberwolves for a little bit, went over to Wisconsin to work for the Badgers, and then went back to Minnesota, and it brought me here. And I feel very blessed every day for the path I've taken, that's for sure.
Okay, can you give us one video that you've released that the reaction was just like overwhelming, that you just like that makes you giddy when you think back on it?
The home videos that we created last year were something I think was really, really special. That consisted of the newcomers from last year. So Carleek, Charles, DeAndre, JJ, and Gabe. Having those guys come in, and we already know, no one had access last year to anything we were doing on the practice court during the summer. So it was really cool to maybe go to some of those guys' hometowns and tell their story, and then bring that to life. For you guys to see and get to know a little bit more about Gabe and why he went to the military academy and why he chose Louisville instead of going to another year of high school. That was super special for me because I knew that the fans really wanted it. And I know that everyone else on the coaching staff wanted to show the personalities of the team. So I thought it was great for me and the rest of the team here to showcase those guys at that given point in time.
So just to be clear, you do encourage fan interaction. You do want to know their opinions.
Oh yeah, 100%. Because I think it will make me better because I want to know what the fans want to see. Will I listen to them 100% of the time? Probably not. But at the same time, it'd be awesome to know, what fans are hungry to hear about, so then we can maybe establish that in future stuff.
So you are okay with passing out your Twitter? Because I do think the majority and the extreme majority of this fan base loves the work you're putting out, and I think it's just only right. Like if you give them your Twitter number, or I'm sorry, your Twitter address, just so they can tag you and tell you they appreciate it, or tell you what they might like to see on one of the next ones if you could.
Yeah, I really, really appreciate those kind words. My Twitter is Troy Beckman 15, and then my Instagram is Troy Beckman Productions. But also go follow the Louisville MBB account for both Twitter and Instagram, and maybe coming soon to TikTok. Not sure, but maybe a TikTok soon.
Okay. Last question before I get you out of here: is there any way that you can give these millions of listeners of Midday with Marcus Maben any kind of preview, any kind of hint, any kind of tease on when and what kind of video we can expect in the near future?
I don't think I'm going to give you guys, that right now. I think I want to hold off
Fair
and,
enough.
Get you guys guessing a little longer, but I know for a fact we have some amazing things established for the summer that all the fans are going to be really, really excited about. I just got done with a meeting earlier today talking about a certain event, and we got a bunch of stuff coming.
Listen, Troy, I really, really do appreciate your time. Enjoyed having you on. I'm looking forward to when you release another masterpiece of work, maybe getting you to talk about, the process and kind of the behind the scenes. Again, I do mean this when I say you have been the MVP of the summer. Like to say, to keep people, involved in the program. Don't ever sell yourself short on the job you do and how important your job is over at the basketball department. I appreciate you coming on.
I really appreciate that. And I look forward to listening to more of your shows in the future, man. You guys have a really, really good day.
Absolutely. That was our mystery guest, our real MVP, Troy Beckman, letting you know what goes on behind the scenes. Andrew Lindsay gets together. Listen, he gets all access. Sam Williamson is the glare guy, is the camera glare guy.
I didn't see that one coming.
I didn't see that coming. You notice he didn't throw anybody under the bus as far as the hiding from the camera guys.
Well, that's smart. It was his first interview, so let's not throw anybody under the bus.
Actually, here's the thing, Ryan. There's only two possibilities. Either nobody is really shy, right? Or because I have a little bit of this arrogance too. And Troy, I'm saying arrogance in a positive way. I feel like anybody who co-hosts with me, I'm going to loosen, I'm gonna loosen them up, and I'll get them talking comfortable, and I'll get them more engaging with the show and the fans, right? I'm sure he thinks that given enough time, he's going to gain the trust of every single player, and they will not be shy by the time he's done with it.
Well, I also think that you kind of see he probably gets a different side of people that we don't see. And what I mean by that is even if a basketball player is shy in front of the camera, in front of the media, or talking on the mic or something like that, they're with their boys and they're playing basketball. He's running around with a camera around the basketball court while they're just out there, playing pickup basketball. They're in their home environment,
right?
And they're with their boys and they're just having a good time. And then you throw a camera up in their face, and there's it's like us. Like right now, like I always tell people, like, they're like, you do radio, like, do you get nervous when you talk? And I was like, the first couple times I did, but I was like, now I really feel like I'm just in a room talking to Marcus, and I don't think about everybody else that's actually listening at the time that we're talking. And it's probably the same concept with the players. They're like, I have no idea who's going to see this video and win. So I'm just in the gym with all my teammates, and we're just having fun.
When you trust him to keep it clean, keep it respectful, then you can just totally be yourself. But again, I know he probably has the same worry I do. I know we have a dump button, right? Mm-hmm. And I know when we have guests in here, I want to protect their reputation as well as anybody. So we're hypersensitive to any, like any kind of little.
I'm sure he picks and chooses what he's actually going to post.
Right? No, 100%. But the thing is, I'm extra cautious about every little thing, and I'm sure he has that, like, the questions I ask, the answers I get, I'm extra cautious because I don't want people to get too loose and then slip up and curse or say something, a little like out locker room talk or anything like that.
The best part about his thing is it's not live, so he can always go back and edit it, where we have the live concept. So we got a 20-second window to decide if we want to let that hit the airwaves or not.
No, and listen, he sounds like he has more creative control than we originally thought. Like I said, if he and Lentz get together and they can like mash it out, and he said if there's a focus for the week, if it's a strength weight room, if it's a certain, so they are kind of getting a blueprint, on what to cover. So yeah,
I'm sure I'm sure that they have a sit down meeting and Mac kind of lays out the groundwork. Like, this is what we can post. This is what we can't post. This is what we're trying to do with these posts. And then he lets them kind of get creative and do what he wants. But he kind of, I bet you Max says, like, this is the type of message we're trying to portray. This is what we're trying to use this social media account for, and then he lets his guys go. I mean, that's what a good manager does. I mean, you get the guidelines and then you let your guy go and see how creative they are.
And I'm glad I didn't forget to ask the background, because it's like, I didn't want somebody who's good at a little TikTok here and there, a little bit of editing, like, oh, dude, I could be doing that job. It's like, no, dude, this dude he's at Wisconsin Badgers, University of Minnesota, Minnesota Timberwolves. I can't believe you didn't jump in, and like a good co-host should. He worked with the Minnesota Timberwolves, and you didn't ask a question, Brian.
I know.
Why do you? The reason I beg for you to put the headphones on is because you could perfectly say, you were supposed to raise your finger and say, Hey, Troy, this is Brian Hall over at ESPN. I got a question about your time at the Minnesota Timberwolves. What? You didn't jump in on that, Brian?
I thought about it because it rang a bell when he said something. Then I was like, well, what do I ask? Like, I'm like, it's cool that he's with the Timberwolves, but what do I really want to know? But I think more of the stuff that I would want to know would be stuff that I would ask off air.
Yeah, I was going to say.
Than what I would actually ask on air.
You messed up by saying, what would you want to know? You're supposed to say, what would the people
want to know?
Right.
The people.
Right.
But the thing is I want to know what I want to know, not what the people want to know. I want to get the behind the scenes talk.
No,
what are the star players talking about? Are they happy?
At some point, I did start to turn to you and throw you, but I didn't know if you had a question ready or not. Yeah. And I didn't want to just kind of throw you on the spot.
I heard the Timberwolves, and it definitely rang a bell, and I did not know that. I'm glad that I know that now. Mm-hmm. And now that we've made a connection with him, I might reach out to him sometimes. see what he's hearing about some stuff. But yeah, I mean, it's interesting that he has an NBA background, that he's been doing this for a while, and that he's familiar with what Louisville's looking for. I like that.
100%. Like I said, you tell me Wisconsin that's a big program, man. Like Wisconsin, the University of Minnesota, Timberwolves, Louisville. I'm here for it.
And honestly, people underestimate now, like, social media is such a big form of getting the word out there, and basically he's a hype man, and he's trying to build the hype. Like you said, he's keeping the fan base engaged in the off season. Like, hey, basketball's right around the corner, don't forget about it. And then he sends out these dunk videos, and you're like, all right,
I know what you're saying and I get it, but here's the thing. I want to be careful about using the phrase hype man.
Yeah.
Because when I asked him about what are some of the pieces that, that you were most proud of, kind of the things he talked about the connection. And we talk about that here all the time. These young men growing, they're learning every day. Like him talking about going from family life to move in to, home life, telling their personal stories. If that side of him is the thing he's most proud of, he fits in right here, because we say, listen, you have to remember, like, enjoy every aspect. Don't just wait for a loss and then try to fire a coach, and or wait for a kid and then he sucks. And like, you just don't wait for drama. So that's why I want to say it's not all just hyping things up. It's you getting to know the program, you getting to know. And I was glad that he said Coach Mack gave him the assignment of let people get to know these guys so they can, know their team.
Well, I think there's a lot of things. I mean, there's what you're talking about. Then there's hyping up the fans. Then there's hyping up recruits. Then there's kind of getting the message out to recruits. And like, there's just his job. Yeah. There's so many different he's trying to engage a lot of different categories of people.
Last one before I hit the top of the hour. How nervous do you think he is when he releases a video to a rabid fan base like this? Because here's the thing. Not only does he know this fan base is insane, but he knows the rival fan base.
He knows he's going to get it from Kentucky.
Yes. So he has to be edgy. He has to be a little dangerous. And you know what, Marcus? I dropped the ball. I just realized I dropped the ball. You know what I was supposed to ask him?
What?
Stop putting those weak dunks on the videos.
Oh, yeah.
Only the real. Oh, Marcus, I'm sorry, listeners. I'm sorry. Oh, I just did you a huge disservice. I dropped the ball.
You know what? And if you made that comment, he would have thought about it every time.
I know, and he's listening right now, so I know he still's gonna hear. Listen, Troy, the soft lay-in dunk, the little fingertip dunk, if the rim don't snap, don't put it on these videos. If it's no screaming or if it doesn't look like it hurts their hand, don't put those little cool, smooth dunk. We need intense plays. Even if they're just crashing into each other, we need it. Don't put those, because it's going to drive me insane. And the fans that listen to me know I'm going insane. And I just can't do. And tell them, Troy, you're the video guy. Next time they try to get more time on the video, say, listen, y'all ain't dunking hard enough to get on the video. You don't think he should tell him that, Brian?
No, I do, because
that's why he's the MVP.
See, he's the hype man for the team too.
Yes, like tell him, like, dude, man, I just did an interview with ESPN and Marcus Maben, and he wanted me to personally pass it along and says, y'all, I can't do my job if y'all are in here dunking this ball soft like this. No, I need finishers, Troy. The fan base needs to know these kids are becoming finishers, not layup guy. Don't put smack in the backboard on my videos anymore. Look, now we're all cool. I'm like, man, T-Beck, man, come on.
T-Beck.
Yeah, T-Beck, listen. No soft dunks on any of the videos. That's the only rule we got. You're doing a great job keeping everybody engaged. No soft dunks. And if you see some shoes untied, if you see somebody's shoe come off, You video that, you send it to me.
Going back to your original question about if he gets nervous when he puts out a tweet, I would say that if after you've been doing it for so long and that it becomes routine and you don't think about it as much, but there's no doubt that like whenever I make a tweet or anything, like I read it and then I read it over again and then I double check it and then I post it and then I read it again, and like I'm sure he does all the editing for the video the night before, gets that into place, and then kind of double checks the wording and stuff. But I would, if I were running a Twitter handle like he is
for the University of Louisville men's basketball department,
I would probably triple check everything.
Listen, completely quadruple, like
The Ville, live from the OPC Services Studio.
The best in the weather, it still remains a fact that temperature control is one of the most important resources one could have. And if you agree, then DFH Company is definitely the company for you. Simply dial 968-6222, or you can just look them up online at dfhcompany.com. Learn about the Mitsubishi Mini Split like we use here in our 93.9 studios, aka the Players Club. Inquire about the Mitsubishi Mini Split for your hard to heat or hard to cool room in your home. Also, Mitsubishi right now through June offering a $500, yes, $500 rebate on its multi-zone systems. Again, 968-6222, or you can look them up online at dfhcompany.com. Also, thanks to Adam and his staff for dropping off Wing Zone Catering to the ESPN Louisville studios. Try the ESPN Louisville special, 10 boneless wings and wedges and a drink for $93.9 or $9.39. Just mention ESPN Louisville good 7 days a week. Or the Thursday special, 20 boneless wings for $14. Order online, wingzone.com. 2 locations, Hikes Point and the Popular Level Road location at Quarry Center. So I had a good time. Again, thank you so much. The men's basketball department, Troy Beckman, for joining us. If you didn't get the chance to catch the interview, Brian Hall will have it podcasted as soon as the show ends. You can listen to it on ESPN Louisville. Just click the 93.9 tab. It'll take you right to it. So, in the title of today's show, it was centered around family conversations and family decisions. Now, because I don't know how it's going to work out with the Donovan Mitchell situation, I think the Clippers just kind of smell blood, and they might get him. I think they're doing a good job coaching, making adjustments. I just think they got the right pieces to maybe take out Utah. So it made me kind of go big picture. There is no doubt Donovan Mitchell should have been one of the all NBA players. There is no doubt that Donovan Mitchell is a superstar. I used to worry that he used too much of his athleticism. He adjusted right out of that. I wanted him to stay healthy, so I didn't want him crashing in there, going for dunks. I think the only solution to move Donovan Mitchell into full superstar honored area is for him to go full point guard, because he's 6'3", and bring some big wings around him, and you can't do the Conley experiment. Conley's a hell of a player. Don't get me wrong. Between that and getting out of Utah, I think those roadblocks for Donovan Mitchell is something that, as a Louisville family, we're just going to have to accept. Now, speaking of more uncomfortable family conversation, over the last couple of days, I've admitted, I took a gut punch. And I say I took a gut punch. We took a gut punch, but I can feel the gut punch because I live vicariously through, or I have been living vicariously through Luke Hancock, Keith Otto, and the TBT tournament.
We were all
players.
on board.
We were 100% on board. This is something we had been hoping for multiple years, right?
Mm-hmm.
So as I recover from my gut punch, our collective, what do you call it? Our voodoo doll that we feel at each other's pain and all that stuff as a family. Listen, I was embarrassed without being embarrassed. You know what I'm saying? It's like, even if someone tricks me, right? I'm embarrassed because I fell for it, but I know they did a good job of tricking me. So I can acknowledge that, okay, it's not my fault, but I'm still embarrassed that there's always something I could have done to avoid this, right? So before we talk about the family decision here, I want y'all to feel this vicariously through Luke on, seeing it from his perspective on the buildup and the letdown, because moving forward, I need help with the decision moving forward.
It's so what we're about to talk about, I actually listened to live yesterday when I was in my car, and it's one of those things where I could kind of, like you said, you kind of live vicariously through them. Like, I could feel the pain of Luke and just kind of
let them hear it. Like, you can react to it.
The Pat 40 article, that definitely fired me up. This is one I'm fired up on.
Okay. Yeah.
I'm not happy with the TBT. I played at Louisville. Everybody knows that, but they came to me year after year after year to try and put a Louisville team in the TBT to help organize. We've had conversations over and over again. They've changed how they've structured teams and how they've put together here. They've done just various aspects of how you run a basketball tournament that is as big as the TBT is, right? So now that I finally decide, all right, I've got Keith in position to want to put the work in, that he's a young guy trying to figure out what's next. I know coaching is an aspect of that he wants to show his value. He wants to show how you can organize this whole thing and wants to put a good product out there on the basketball court. So my man Keith Otto works his tail off. You know how tough it is to get commitments from all these guys when they're playing overseas and they're in different countries and they're not sure if they're going to play summer league.
Do you know how hard it is to get 12 adults to do anything together?
I'm saying.
I'm not talking about playing a tournament. I'm talking about go out and have dinner. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
We messed up a 3-person dinner.
Exactly.
Remember that?
Yeah. I mean, the TBT acts like we sent out some text messages and got some confirmations, and that was it. And that we didn't have this thing put together. The reasoning from the TBT is absolute BS. And I'm here to say it. That is a bunch of bull. We've got a former number one player in the country.
So for those who don't know,
okay,
for those of you who might not have seen him on, Keith on Twitter, that sort of thing, basically you guys were told by the TBT that the team isn't high profile enough. Is that a fair assessment?
That's pretty fair. That's pretty fair.
That's your understanding of what they said to you.
Right. So we had a deadline of midnight last night. Okay. And their expectation is that you're going to send a video, a 10 to 30 second video saying, hey, I'm excited to play for this team. I'll be participating in the TBT.
Every single player
and coach.
And it's part of like a promotional thing.
I think it's a little bit more like, hey, here's the video you sent in. You said you were playing. Where you at? Or
okay, it's a way of demonstrating the commitment, not just I got a bunch of text messages.
Yeah.
These guys, here's the video. I'm in.
They don't want any flake outs, which I understand. It's a big tournament, right?
Right.
So 6 hours before the deadline, Keith calls me and he says they just told us we're not in. And we had Preston Knowles ready to send to them that afternoon. And so we didn't even get a chance to finalize our roster before they told us we weren't in. I don't make millions and millions and millions of dollars, but the financial aspect, whatever we didn't cover from the GoFundMe, I think we would have had plenty of people that would have supported us. And I'm talking like corporate sponsors, having some people put their names on it. I've had great conversations. Now, did I have money in the bank? No, not yet. But ultimately, if I put my name on it, it's because we're going to do it. And I knew what the expectation was. The whole reason I didn't do TBT in the years prior was they wanted a venue that held a certain amount of people, and they wanted us to be on the hook for providing that venue. And they took X, Y, and Z, whether it's food or ticket sales or whatever the case may be, the TBT took part of that. The avenues to get into this thing have changed, right? So we basically had to raise a certain amount of money, have our team ready to go, get there, hotels for the first one, got to take care of meals and things like that. They provide, your uniform. You got to bring a lot to the table, though. 6 hours before our deadline, they send us this message that says we did not make it. Absolute BS. I mean, I'm not knocking like Murray State, but you're going to tell me 2 starters from a national championship team, Samardo Samuels, a former #1 player in the country, and several high-level pros weren't going to be more high profile than Isaiah Cannon and a bunch of dudes?
Whew. Good job, Luke. Good job, Luke. There's a team. This is just to back up Luke real quick.
Okay.
There's a team called Tubby Time 2021.
Like Tubby Smith?
I don't know, but it says Tubby Time 2021. Maybe. That's what I'm assuming. Trevor, I can't say his last name. Nate Mason, Paul Carter, Rainier Thornton, Jordan Tolbert, Todrick Gotcher, DeVoe Joseph, Damian Johnson, Jordan Taylor, and Jeff Newberry.
I don't know one of them.
And you're a college guy.
And I'm a basketball guy. I'm pretty good. Like I can almost name down to the 12th, 13th, 14th guy on an NBA team.
You could probably name at least 2 starters from every good team of the last 15 years. If I said Kentucky, and I gave you 2 players on that team, you would be able to say, oh yeah, they had so and so and so and so. Like
Kentucky, yeah.
Just any that's what I'm saying. Like we know our way around the college basketball landscape. The coaches, Brian, Joe Esposito and Brian with the Y, Brian Bender.
Huh. Any relation to Brandon?
If he did, he lost the pigment along the way.
Gotcha. Had a different mom.
Right. Fair enough. Yeah, we're stepbrothers. That's a team that's in the TBT.
But to Luke's point, even a Murray State team, like I could probably name 2 players on Murray State's team the past 10 years.
How disrespectful.
Like 2 players each year.
How disrespectful is it that you've contacted Luke for 3 years? And how bully of it is it? Either it's Russ Smith and Peyton Siva, but here's the problem, Brian, and everybody knows how my brain works. And I'm sorry, y'all don't have to go down this road with me, but the more you guys see how much manipulation is being done behind the scenes, the more you can give my theories a little more credence. You call Luke 3 years in a row, trying to tap into the market, trying to say, okay, we're going to get a chunk of your concessions. We're going to get a chunk. You have to get the venue. We're going to come in. We're going to sell advertising space on all the jerseys. You get the venue. And when we come to town, you got to have Russ and Peyton and what? Listen, you got a nice thing with this TBT, but you are making us do a boatload of work for you to be getting so much of this profit. And not to mention, again, you called me and then you want Russ and Peyton out there, right? So Marcus Maben, in hindsight, I'm like, you were looking to set these boys up.
Mm-hmm.
You were looking to screw a Louisville team. You're looking to undercut some kind of way a Louisville team. Go ahead and grab that. Because I just can't see it the other way. Anybody who doesn't think having Luke Hancock's name associated with a TBT team, if you do a starting lineup, if you say this guy Wayne Blackshear started for the national championship team, and you say this guy Samardo Samuels is a former #1 recruit in all of, just to get it on there and say, how many times would you say this guy was coached by Rick Pitino. Like, there's so much meat to the bone of that team, no matter what. You get Kevin Ware on the team. This guy, the infamous, blah, blah, whatever. There is so much media discussion around those players. This guy, did like these resumes. Even if you said Quan Four was the part of the biggest near upset and the biggest comeback. And I mean, golly, you have topics, you have conversation, you have interest for days. That makes me say you were setting somebody up to take a fall. You were going to make him put the 2013 entire team together, come to Louisville, and give them a loss.
Yeah, well, I have a point I want to make, but kind of to your point, do you think that the name of the team, the 3-time champs, actually was something that factored into this decision in the sense that, like, because to your point, like, if they're trying to set us up, they don't like the fact that we're saying 3-time champs and that we're debating with the NCAA in a separate league.
In the evening, when I'm having a cocktail, when I'm having my glass of Sky vodka,
that's what you'll talk about.
I'll say stuff like that.
Yeah.
Like I'll go fully, what do you call it? Conspiracy theory, because I'm just having fun.
Did you hear later in the interview, though? Did you listen to the whole,
No.
Luke talking? So did you hear the part about Jalen Johnson?
No.
Okay, so you know how he said that each player has to send in a video and, who they're playing for and all that. So Jalen Johnson had given the university or the Louisville team the okay that he was going to be on the team.
Yep.
But then he released a video, I think it was within a day of committing to play for Louisville, that he was going to be playing for another team. And that Luke thinks that has a big and he is not happy with Jalen Johnson right now. And that he is saying that he thinks that had a big factor because it hurt Louisville's credibility, because they say that they send in their roster and say Jalen Johnson's on our team. And then Jalen Johnson sent in a video that he was playing for another team. And he said that he thinks that was one of the biggest factors in them deciding not to play because they didn't think our players were credible.
You know what that reminds me of? That reminds me of somebody looking for a reason.
Yeah.
If that was enough, listen, you think
I agree.
Out of all these teams, you think guys aren't getting paid to jump? This is worse than AAU because these are adults, and $1,000 will get you to change teams and jump ship. If I'm playing for the Louisville TBT 3-time champ, and somebody says, "Hey man, I got two G's for you just to come and play with us," you think any of these guys wouldn't jump ship? For a couple thousand?
So the guy's name is Dan, apparently, who he goes on to say Dan's the guy who makes the final decision. And he's like, we've had some pretty rough texts going back and forth, and because they were like, let's get him on the show. Get him on the show. And he's like, well, we've kind of had some disagreements. And then the TBT announced that they weren't maybe going to release the final until Monday, that there was still a chance that Louisville could get in. And, Mark asked Luke, like, if they come back to you all, do you think you and Keith would consider the thing? And he was like, I don't know. I'm pretty, he's like, I'm pretty, pushed off by this.
Absolutely not. Who do we got on the phone line?
We got Nate.
Nate, thanks for joining us on Middays with Marcus Maben. Fire away, my man.
This is I'm right there with Luke. I think this is some BS, but I'm gonna tell you right now, if they wanted us to have Siva and Russ, there wouldn't even be no point. I mean, just mail us the damn trophy. You trying to tell me that you got 4 starters from the national championship team in 2013, and 4 of them on the man? You just mail us that damn trophy. Ain't even no point in having the tournament. Ain't no point in having people make silly little videos or making excuses or whatever. You got Russ, you got Peyton, you got Shane, and you got Wayne, and you got the rest of the guys. You just send us the trophy.
So listen, let me ask you this, Nate. You get that phone call. Nate gets that phone call. Nate is in charge of the decision. Luke Hancock gets the call, And Nate, you just happen to be sitting beside Luke Hancock at 4 pegs, and he puts it on speakerphone, right? And they say, Luke, we screwed up. We really want that Louisville market, and he hands you the phone, Nate. What do you say to Dan of the TBT?
I can't say what I would say to Dan on the radio, but it would be somewhere along the lines of, sit on it, Fonzie. It would be somewhere along the lines of that. I would make sure that they put me on a video call, and I would give them number one on both hands.
Right.
And that's me. That's me personally, because I don't deal too good with that stuff. Don't tell me my team ain't good enough, and then come back and try. Oh, hey, we was just kidding. No, you can take that just kidding and an apology and set on both of them, because I got no use for that crap.
Nate, I do appreciate the call. Yeah, because here's the thing, y'all. You might get that call.
But this is your chance to kind of throw it right back at him. No, you didn't want us the first time.
So what's and just to clean up Nate's verbiage, we're not good enough. We're not high profile enough.
That's a complete BS.
Repeat. Don't ever say this. After you listen to this show today, when you talk TBT with anybody for the rest of your life, because we're going to remember this, don't you ever say the TBT tournament thought we weren't good enough. Because I guarantee our statistics and our resumes will blow, the resumes of the players we have would blow most of those teams out of the water. So they were just saying, you're not high profile. The only two real high profile, actually, anybody who's high profile is in the NBA. The only two other high profile, one of them works in this studio. I'm sorry, 3. One of them works in this studio and works for the ACC network. Are you kidding me? A dude whose name works for the ACC network. You don't think that's high profile enough? You don't think there could have been some ACC, TBT, cross promotion a little bit, some former ACC players that might have been? You don't think Packer and Durham would like making a list of what former ACC players are playing in the TBT and bring Luke in to talk about it? Like that's what I'm saying. Your profile thing is a lie, and your ability and resume thing is just not true.
There's something going on behind the scenes. There's some reason that they didn't let us in for whatever reason. Because I mean, Luke goes down the list. He's like, you got 2 former starters on a national championship team. You have Samardo Samuel, who at one point was the number 1 recruit in the country. You have probably 3 or 4, probably more than that. I'm going to say maybe 5 guys on the roster that actually wore an NBA jersey at some point in their career. I mean, and then you listed off a 12-man roster that I didn't know one name. And I am a basketball, I would consider myself a pretty in-depth knowledge when it comes to players, even top to bottom of NBA rosters and different things like that. But the big mistake that they are making is we're the number 1 basketball market. We've been talking about this on our show for 2 to 3 weeks to finalize just the roster. And then the topic today should have been who our first round opponent is. And we were going to be like looking at their roster and kind of like,
when you're the top market, Brian, you don't need profile. You're already your market corrects any problem you have about lack of support for your product. We bring our own fans. It's like if you have an event and you invite our team, you don't charge us because we're going to bring our own fans. We're going to bring our own viewers. We're going to bring our own content. But here's the thing, Brian, I'm sick of whining about it. What do? Are we going to family boycott, y'all? Are we going to hold on, let me give you all the choices. Are we going to do a Louisville TBT family boycott? Number 1. Number 2, are we going to troll the ever-loving insanity out of the TBT? I mean, just hashtag trash, trash Blumpton tournament, and just every family Louisville. Because here's the thing. We argue with each other about what players should be on, and we argue as a Louisville fan base about everything. But I think they have declared war on this market. I think they officially declared war. So number 2, do we, and I don't want to say, put it this way, let's say cyber influence. Do we cyber influence by trashing the TBT for the entire tournament, right? Or number 3, do we lick our wounds and start helping Luke and Keith get ready for next year's team? And just eat this one and start getting prepared for next year's TV.
What about D, all the above? Well, because here's the thing. So I was going to go back and say that back to my market thing. It's 75%. I realize, it's not the actual Louisville team and it's former players. And so I would go ahead and say that 25% of the fan base is going to kind of be, just not pay attention to it. But I would say that 75% of the hardcore Louisville fans would have at least tuned in for a game or two, if not all the games, because they want to see these former players play. But to your point, the A, B, C, D options, I do think that there are going to be, I think the fan base.
8150 939 is the number. 3831 939 is the text line. A, B, C, or D. Should we boycott? Should we troll? Should we what was C?
It was
boycott.
Help
troll,
Keith and Luke get ready for next year.
And then you said D, all the above. Yeah, C was okay. C
so
was.
I think.
Go ahead.
I'm never gonna get my answer when you give the number.
Hold on to it. Yeah, like we have to have a decision on that one because here's the thing, and there are consequences. If we boycott, they're gonna see the numbers of Louisville and think people are not interested. If we boycott, if we troll, we may lose the ability to play in that for good.
Well, here's the thing. So I don't think a lot of people around here are going to watch the TBT at all now. And that's not, and I think it's partly a boycott. I think some of the fans are taking it to heart. Some of them are just kind of brushing it off. But I don't think it was an event that a lot of Louisville fans planned on watching until they heard the Louisville team was going to be in it. So I think it's going to be a boycott by default. And then I think that you're going to get, I do think you're going to have a couple like hardcore fans be pretty upset about this. And they're going to troll. And then I think everybody will be on board with helping Keith and Luke, and they'll get a ton of donations, and we'll have it all in line and ready to go.
I'm trying to make a
week before.
We got to make a full family decision. Who we got on the phone lines?
Dennis,
thanks for joining us on 93.9. What's on your mind?
What's up, guys? Hey, Luke, listen, check on that phone warranty, brother, okay? Because here's the deal. If I'm sitting beside you in the pub and you get that call on speakerphone, it's going to be the Peyton Siva over the back to Montrez, Incredible Hulk, slamma-jamma going down like James Brown on that phone straight into my pub glass, all right?
So there is no way is there anything that Dan could say that could talk Dennis into letting that team as currently constructed join the TBT as a late entry?
He can talk, he can text it, he can email it, Twitch, Twitter, all that. I don't care what he says to me or the way he gets the communication into my inbox, brother. It's getting slam dunked into my pint glass.
Okay, well, let me ask you this. I gave the options: boycott, troll, get ready for next year, or Brian Hall says D, all the above.
No, we don't have to troll and do any of that, man. It's new phone. Who dis? I don't even. Who's calling? Hang up.
So as far as next year, would you want to get a team together?
No, man. Bridge is burnt, torched. Leave them standing there looking at the bridge, seeing it in flames, wondering what happened. We don't care. Move on. See you.
Man, Dennis, I appreciate that call. I think
a lot of people feel that way.
I guess that was E.
And he advanced to E.
That would have been an option E.
Fill in your own response.
I tell you what, we'll take our last commercial break, our quick commercial break. Middays with Marcus Maben on 93.9 The Ville.
Hey everyone, I'm Brandon Lang. When Matthew McConaughey plays you in a movie, as he did me in 2005's Two for the Money, you have to maintain a certain image. That's hard to do when you're going bald. I needed to do something, and it needed to be done fast. Parsley Waldman's Hair Center came to the rescue. Louisville and the Midwest Premier Hair Treatment Center not only gave me my hair back, but my self-confidence as well. Go to hairsurgery.com and find out how you can start your journey back to a full head of hair today. I can tell you firsthand, from the minute you walk in the door to the time you leave, you are treated as if you were in a 5-star hotel. And now that it's been a year since my surgery, I look back at pictures from a couple years ago. I don't even look like the same person. The procedure was an amazing success, and it has totally reframed my face. Go to hairsurgery.com and find out not only how affordable it is, but how you can get your hair back today. Visit hairsurgery.com. That's hairsurgery.com. And tell them Brandon Lang sent you.
Want to know the secret to making sure everything at Kroger is fresh? Secret shoppers, spies we hire to expertly inspect our produce department in every store. Their mission is to ensure we have the freshest bananas, lettuce, and more. Now that the secret is out, you know what else is? Tomatoes that are fresher than fresh. Kroger, fresh for everyone.
Now you can save on juicy, boneless half strip. Grill them up for only $5.99 a pound with your card. Kroger, fresh for everyone.
Have you been in a car wreck? Insurance companies can be really tough to deal with on your own. I'm Sam Aguiar, and our team is here to help. We have been fortunate enough to represent thousands of people from Kentucky communities, and we would love to speak with you about your potential case. Our team loves what we do. The consultation for you is free, and we don't charge you anything unless we win the case for you. So come be a part of our team. Our phone number is easy, 502-888-8888. 502-888-8888.
CarMax is hiring experienced auto technicians for many of its 200-plus stores nationwide. Join CarMax to grow your technical expertise and work with state-of-the-art tools and technology. Apply today at CarMaxAutotech.com. That's CarMaxAutotech.com.
The NBA playoffs continue. Durant triggers a three and buries it from straight on top. After 5 games, the home team is undefeated after the Nets win Game 5 in Brooklyn. Now we return to Milwaukee. Will the home team trend continue? Or will the Nets earn a trip to the Eastern Conference Finals?
Giannis down the lane and winds up and dumps it on the head of Griffin.
Coverage begins tonight at 8 o'clock on 93.9 The Ville.
Yeah, it's that good. There's pizza. Good taste, happy face, your place, my place. What's gonna make you happy? It's the sun I see on your face. It's that good. Yes, it is, and we deliver it. Oh, oh, oh. Taste is fun. Yes, it is. We guarantee it. Yeah, it's that good. There's pizza. Yeah, it's that good.
Prescription products require an online consultation with a healthcare provider and are only available if the provider determines a prescription is appropriate. Subscription required. Additional restrictions apply. See website for full details and important safety information.
My husband's ED was affecting our marriage. When he first started experiencing ED, it was difficult for both of us. We didn't know who to talk to about it or where to get help. HIMS was our answer. HIMS connected my husband with a licensed provider online. He was able to get medication to treat his ED at a fraction of the price people pay for the name brand. It was delivered to our door, and guess what? Our sex life is back. It works.
Right now, get your first online provider's visit totally free when you go to forhims.com/love. Yep, free. No copay, no expensive appointments, and no awkward face-to-face conversations. Just the care you need.
Thanks to HIMS, we got our sex life and our marriage back.
To start your free online visit, go to this exclusive address, forhims.com/love. That's forhims.com/love for your free online visit. FORHIMS.com/LOVE.
Hey guys, it's Andy Sweeney here. When it was time to expand our offices and studios at ESPN Louisville, guys, the choice was easy. Realm Construction. Find them online today, realmconstruction.com. They're family owned and have been serving the Louisville area now for 60 years. Owners Rich Banks and Bill Receiver could not have been easier to work with. Their knowledge, professionalism, and attention to detail were absolutely top-notch. Bottom line, Realm Construction did everything they said they would do and more. Realm Construction specializes in commercial general contracting. You've probably seen their work at 4th Street Live, as well as many healthcare facilities around the area. For their full portfolio, visit realmconstruction.com. We trusted Realm Construction for our expansion, and you should too. For your next project, use Realm Construction. Online at realmconstruction.com or give them a call, 581-9191.
You're listening to 93.9 The Ville, your home for the Diener Show, 7 to 10 a.m.
The one thing you never know in the off seasons of football and basketball is who is improving, who is getting better.
Middays with Marcus Maven, 10 to noon.
No matter how good your coaches are, players got to play.
And afternoons with Mark Ennis on The Drive.
I know that he's got tons of campaigning to do to convince people that he wants to be here, but I think he does.
This is 93.9 The Ville and the ESPN Louisville app.
Focus has expanded its roster of flavors with 4 new big hitters. Crisp apple, mixed berry, cherry cola, and root beer add to Focus's already impressive roster of flavors.
Focus has been our go-to drink for years when it's time for a pick-me-up around the office.
Focus is a naturally energizing caffeinated sparkling water, so it's free of any of the bad stuff you find in sodas and energy drinks.
Go to drinkfocus.com to find the full lineup of flavors and get them delivered right to your door.
Focus, P-H-O-C-U-S. Try it today.
Hey, it's Pat Jaggers, and I invite you to join me for a special edition of Trading Paint this Sunday at 8 o'clock on 93.9 The Ville. Once again, we're going an extra hour as it's a special show. I'll be live in Nashville getting you ready for the Ally 400 as NASCAR makes its return to the Music City. Oh, and by the way, we have a massive guest lineup confirmed as well. We catch up with the NASCAR Cup Series current points leader, Denny Hamlin, owner and founder of Trackhouse Racing, Justin Marks, one of our favorites, Matty D, Matt Benedetto joins, and the man who will wave the green flag at the start of the Ally 400, former Tennessee Titan and now NASCAR superfan, Bernard Pollard, gives us his take on the race. We'll also slow things down as we dissect a video of a fan outraged by a cooler rule, and of course, my pick to win. Once again, it's Trading Paint, and it's this Sunday from 8 to 10 a.m. on 93.9 The Ville.
This is Drew Diener, and you're listening to 93.9 The Ville, live from the OPC Services Studio.
Number 93.9 is the station. Let me give you a couple of program reminders. First and foremost, Louisville City on ESPN Louisville. ESPN Louisville is your radio home for Louisville City FC. The boys in purple are back in action Saturday. Lou City FC at FC Tulsa around 7:45 p.m. on ESPN 680, 105.7, and 93.9 The Ville and the ESPN Louisville app. And don't forget to catch Soccer City on Thursdays from 6 to 7 p.m. on ESPN 680 and 105.7. Also, ESPN Louisville is your home for the NBA playoffs, including the NBA Finals. Our next broadcast tonight, Nets at Bucks, 8 p.m. on 93.9 The Ville. Live play-by-play of the NBA playoffs on ESPN Louisville is presented by Bearno's Pizza, UPS, Jobs, and U of L Health. A couple more. Miss any of our favorite ESPN Louisville shows? Check out the Podcast Center at espnlouisville.com, SoundCloud, Apple Podcasts, or wherever you get your podcasts. Rate, subscribe, and review. One more programming note. Actually, it's not a programming note. These something I feel is very, very important to pass along. I know there's a lot of people who can pass along this information, a lot of people who listen who could use this information as things are moving forward. To address the competitive hiring climate in the Louisville area, UPS will offer a retention bonus. Starting pay is $14.50 per hour. Employees on select shifts will also receive an additional $300 weekly attendance bonus and $125 on Sunday through Thursday shifts. That's $425 in weekly bonuses for select shifts. Learn how you can graduate debt-free. Visit upsjobsky.com for more information. So, Brian, after listening to a couple of phone calls and reading a couple of texts, I just got one of those. Damon Jenkins sends me this text. He says, keep our team and challenge the TBT teams at the Yum Center for meal game purses.
Oh, so he's saying just like take the champs and be like, hey, we'll host you at the Yum Center and see who the real champs are.
Listen, we'll just practice this whole time. We'll do a couple side scrimmages and we'll play y'all in the Yum Center. Look, we'll put up 500,000. Y'all put up 500,000. We just want bragging rights. We just want respect, even if we just put up 100,000. Just see. Look, y'all still in shape. Let's waste y'all real quick. Did you turn off the phone line?
Just on that break.
Okay. Sounds like some people were trying to call in. Again, we'd like to really
take a break too sometimes,
Fair enough. We just want to send our special thanks to the Louisville men's basketball department for letting us have Troy Beckman on. Very insightful. I cannot believe he didn't give us any kind of tease or hint about when, where, who. I thought I would be able to coax it out of him, but that part is all good. One more. I guess people don't even want to participate with the TBT anymore. But I think that's emotional right now. Come next year, I think people will be waiting to get a little bit of payback or get back in some shape, form, or fashion. One more minor conversation. It's an eye-rolling conversation for you. A lot of times it's eye-rolling conversation for me. But we are on the countdown to the NCAA needing to make a decision on the name, image, and likeness eligibility of the athletes. Being that we only have about 2 weeks left of the month, at the end of the month, this is when, these laws are, supposed to pass about, most states allowing some kind of name, image, and likeness situation. Let me say this, and this is a perspective that I see it from. I've watched these things play out. I notice how people like to panic on the what ifs. Like, what if this happens, or what if they get too much money, or how do we keep them from making this much money and doing crazy things? It's like over time, you have to repeat what you're saying, repeat the reasons you're saying that name, image, and likeness has to be controlled and just owned, like the certain way. But I got to tell you this. I heard, Drew Diener discussing it this morning. And it was like I almost felt a cold chill down my spine, or not necessarily a cold chill, but the deja vu. It was like the Matrix scene where the cat walks by twice and Neo is just like, oh, deja vu. And everybody freaks out. You know what gave me a full deja vu moment? And I don't know how, because it's so many years apart. When I was a college student, do you want to know what the name, image, and likeness conversation was really about? I mean, listen, Charles and Ed O'Bannon, I played them my freshman year.
Talking about some UCLA action going on.
They're still fighting name, image, and likeness rights, and like that's been dragged out for 20 years.
Ed O'Bannon's been kind of the face of it, hadn't he?
Yep. He and Charles. So let me tell y'all this. You want to know what they were fighting over? And it sounded the exact same. 20 years ago, we as students were fighting for a clothing stipend. And what I mean by that is kids were coming to school with not many clothes. especially not many clothes for any kind of formal events. And I know it's hard for people to wrap their minds around like not having dress clothes, you know, for a lot of people, because you think, oh, they're just, it's like there's so many kids that are ineligible to play college ball coming out of high school, right? But every time you ask a kid about his academics, you know what they say? I mean, to this day, I can talk to somebody and they'll say, oh, you had somebody doing all your work for you. Oh, you're a big time high school star, so I know you had people doing all your work for you. And you're like, no, if somebody was doing my work for me, I would be a Tennessee Volunteer. If it was as common as just everybody's always doing your work, there'd be a whole lot more eligible kids coming out of school. So you come to college, you're not balling, even though it looks like it. You might travel on a nice bus or have a nice sponsored AAU team, and you have the gear that you get from your schools and your AAU teams, but not a lot of clothing. And I don't mean like, I do mean dress clothes, but I'm also talking about there's a lot of kids that don't come to school with clothes that they can just wear to class without being identified as an athlete. A 6'4" guy that can't find jeans in size 38 just to wear to class, just has to wear all his athletic clothes that he's gotten from the teams.
That's what I was going to say, because to your point, down at Western, a lot of the basketball players would show up in their warm-ups.
That's all. Listen, and it's, again, some people like it, but I'm telling you, the wardrobes of a lot of these kids don't allow them to just dress normal going to class. They want to go to class and be a student, but they have to wear their sports. So automatically, there's the athletes. You know, like I have lived through this. I've saw it. You know, I've been through it a million times. So when we were looking at TV and we were reading the Street Smith articles and the books about getting a stipend passed, they were fighting tooth and nail. The NCAA was fighting tooth and nail not to give a $500 stipend. And you know what ended up getting the kids a stipend? They didn't like how Allen Iverson was dressing, and school started requiring kids dress up on road games. So call-in shows like this one right here, people would call in and say, oh, I saw that team in the airport and they were dressed like a bunch of, you fill in the blank. You can imagine what they were saying about these athletes and how they were dressing.
Bunch of young punks.
You're just, right. So yeah, imagine what my ears heard about, you know, the Iverson era of your team. So now they force-fed you to dress up, to make it mandatory that you spend your $500 on some dress clothes. But again, people, they were fighting tooth and nail not to give $500 to buy clothes. And you know what their rationale was? I mean, what if they just take this money and buy? You know what?
Yeah.
Oh, how do we know they're going to? Oh, well, you can't keep giving them $500 every semester. I mean, how many pairs? Could you imagine the greed of not approving $500 and making it mandatory for every public appearance, every road trip? You know what it's like only having 2 suits and you got 35 games and you got to dress up and you have to wear these 2 every single time you go.
A lot of them probably only have 1.
That's what I'm saying. 1, 2, 1 or none.
And honestly, the NCAA's argument about, you know, where are they going to use the money is bad, because you could honestly use it to your advantage to get a sponsorship deal, do a trade deal with, say, like a Kohl's or a Walmart or a Target, and basically you give them a $500 gift card to that place.
Brian, I don't even want to go down the hole of trying to make it make sense. What I'm telling you is the NCAA would put out these images of kids doing something with the money that they're not supposed to be doing. So every time the NCAA denied a waiver for $500, every time they started denying it, people were like, oh, good, because they'll probably just get some tattoos or something. Like, people really fought. The NCAA fans allied with the NCAA for its decision, and that was considered the first break-in. They need a, and here's the thing, it was clothing, and it was, you had to fill out all your paperwork, your underprivileged paperwork, to get your 1999 stimulus package. But you had to give all of your family's tax information.
What?
You had to give all your employment history
to get $20.
No, to get like $1,200 at the semester break or something. You know what I'm saying? Like, you literally had to beg, please, scratch, scrape, squeal to get $1,200, and it was mandatory for you to dress up on the road. Who do we got on the phone line?
We got Ross.
Ross, thanks for joining us on 93.9. Sorry for taking you down this road. What's on your mind?
Hey, I'm always here for it, Marcus, because I'll just say this. I think that the European, like, international model for amateurism is the way things probably need to go here. I think that amateur athletes, at least as far as I know, how they have kind of like a farm system almost. You know, I think that the student athlete in that regard is much more taken care of. And, I mean, you know, I think everybody's worried about double standards, but, like, you know, it just is, things are kind of just what they are sometimes. Like, you know, we put a high emphasis on entertainment, and that's why entertainers make so much money, whether it's an athlete or an actor, an actress, you know, just whatever. So, like, if that's the culture and society we live in, then, you know, I feel like in the end it's about what are you bringing to the table monetarily wise. So, like, I just think we should move to that, more of that model, and take care of the athletes better in that regard.
Ross, did I totally throw you off? Like, were you originally wanting to chime in on the TBT? I'm sorry if I did. I know you didn't expect me to go down that road.
No, I was. I totally was. I appreciate that. I was going to get to that, but I know the show's probably about to wrap up. But, like, I just want, since you're going down that road, that's what I was going to say. But no, as far as Luke and Keith and all those guys, man, they did a hell of a job. I did not hear Luke talk yesterday, so I appreciate y'all sharing that. I'm totally in agreement with him. And you all, like, we all know that there's something else there. It just doesn't make a lot of sense. With that being said, I'm of the notion that I think whatever you've said at this point over text, phone, whatever, like, that was, whatever's been said has been said. You leave it at that for now. If they came back to us in the next couple of days or whatever and say, hey, do y'all want to, are you interested? I said, no. You take the high road and you say, you know, it's not the right time right now after everything's gone down. You know, we'll work on next year. If you're still interested in us, come back next year. I think that's the most responsible, best way to go about it, you know, and, you know, you don't burn too many bridges that way, but you also stay firm in the stance of where you are at right now. Nobody, you know, shows any weakness. So
do you think this hurt future recruiting? Because those guys probably took a gut shot too.
TBT?
No, the guys that signed up to play for a 3-time champion and were denied entry.
Yeah, like, would they be less inclined to get back on the roster again? Is that what you mean?
That's what I'm asking.
I mean, I don't know if I can speak for them. I'm not. I was never blessed to, like, be. You know, I don't know. I think you'd be able to maybe tell us more than somebody like me.
I would. Look, if you turn that question around on me, I wouldn't.
Yeah. I mean, you know, I see, you know, I don't know. It's just you know, different. You know, going back to what you were talking about a couple of days ago about loser mentality, like, it's all about that Mamba mentality, man. Like, I don't know, like, I do see that, we see that big time athletes that are successful, like they share a lot of similarities in personality and